Please, please end the music. Please cut it. A familiar opponent, a familiar result. Heartbreak on the lake as the Bears drop to the Packers 20-19 on a blocked field goal attempt. The Bears have now dropped 11 in a row to Green Bay. It's been 2,160 something days since they last beat the Packers. They've dropped 4 in a row. Welcome to hell, Bears fans. This is the Bear Necessities Podcast. I'm John Prisnowski. Alongside me is my podcast co-host, my BFF, my compadre, my companion, Jack Lomax. What did we do to deserve this? Is Soldier Field secretly built atop an ancient burial ground that we don't know? How does this keep happening to us? Why are we literally being dragged through hell right now? They keep finding ways to lose the most insane ways. And right before we got on the air, Jack, I literally was just telling you, like not even a moment ago, before I just hit record, I was not going to allow myself to get wrapped up emotionally into this game. I knew what the final score was going to be. I knew it was going to be another fucking loss. And yet, what do the Bears do? They outplayed Green Bay. They outplayed them. They won that game until they lost it. I think that's what has me so wild up this morning is I let myself emotionally get attached, emotionally let myself get back into it, thinking, wow, they're going to do it. And then they fall straight on their face once again. I'm hurt, man. I am down bad this morning. I just talk to me. Talk to me. Take me off the ledge. You took me off the ledge last week. Take me off again.
I can't take you off the ledge. I'm going to push you off the ledge. We're a cursed franchise. It is what it is. Like watching that game and seeing how, and we'll talk about this in the podcast, how the offense clicked. It clicked. I don't know how it clicked. I don't know how, the Packers are coming into this off a bye week and thinking they're fresh and thinking they're awesome. And we were the better team. We were the better team for 4 quarters. Not 3 quarters. We're not a 3-quarter team. We were a 4-quarter team. We looked dominant. Yeah, they had some big plays, whatever. But the Bears, at the end of the day, the Bears lost and the Packers won. And that's all that matters. I didn't get a single text from my Packers friends.
Yeah.
Not a single, and they always do every single week. Your Bears team fucking sucks. Look at you guys, blah, blah, blah. Not a single chirp because they know that they lost that game until they won it. And, I've got plenty to say about that field goal, but...
So the Bears offense definitely was in better rhythm, definitely a better overall unit yesterday. Was a better showing overall by Caleb. I thought Caleb was a lot more comfortable with Thomas Brown. And really quick, I do want to give some kudos to Thomas Brown. And
phenomenal.
The passion, I don't know if you saw the clip, the passion that Thomas Brown showed from the clip that Fox captured.
Roschon Johnson got the touchdown.
Yeah, the Roschon Johnson touchdown right before halftime. The passion that Thomas Brown showed in the coach's press box, like that was the most passion I've seen out of a Bears coach in the last 10 years. Like, can we just fire Matt Eberflus this morning and make him interim coach? Please, 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 please.
It's
like,
a possibility.
I've seen enough. It's so simple what needs to be done. Like the energy that Brown brought yesterday is it's just night and day. We're going to get to the good, the bad, the ugly, and some tweets that blew our mind before we look ahead to the Vikings. Of course, this is the 4th straight week in a row where it's just like I can't even think about next Monday. I can't even think about next Sunday. I honestly can't. It's sickening what's happening to this fan base right now and what we're being asked to watch every week. And knowing that damn well we're going to continue to sit on our couch, go to the bar, wherever you want to watch your Bears, and watch them continue to find ways to lose games because this is a losing franchise. This is a sad, sorry franchise. And I don't know if I'm comfortable saying the cursed word. I know we joke about it freely, but truly, you have to ask yourself, like, why does this keep happening? Why do they keep inventing ways to lose games? And I think it comes down to one thing, and we've talked about it all year. It's the coaching. The good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to get right to the ugly because there is so much ugly, and it starts with your head coach. Just, again, continuing to find ways to lose these games. The guy coaches scared. So you're telling me the 12 yards before the Hail Mary against Washington, those 12 yards didn't matter, but the 46 yards was close enough for Cairo Santos. Get the fuck out of here. What are you even saying, bro? Matt Eberflus is now 2-11 against the NFC North. 6 of those losses, guys, have been in one-score games. Unacceptable if you're the head coach of the Bears. Unacceptable, man.
I will say, right, I'm out on Eberflus.
Do not defend him. Do not fucking defend him right now. Like, I don't know how you can defend him right now.
I'm not. Listen. Hear me out. I'm going to give you some rationale. If you can control, you're right. He is coaching scared. I think that's the main thing you're going to take away from what I'm going to say here. He is coaching scared, but in that moment, you know your kicker can kick the field goal, right? You know your kicker can kick a 46-yarder. He is. He's automatic. Do you risk the fumble? You've got 46 seconds. You can't control those next 2 plays. There are so many variables to come in right now.
You're right. But this comes down to knowing your personnel.
Yeah.
So some stats are pulled after the game, and I found this extremely fascinating. And this just goes back to knowing your personnel and knowing the strengths of your kicker. Cairo Santos, Jack, is 71 of 71 inside 40 yards. That's where he's automatic.
Yeah.
This would have been a 46-yard attempt. His percentage isn't 71 out of 71. It's not a perfect 100%. Know your personnel. So the 7-8 additional yards at the end of the game were the Bears had all the leverage. They had all the momentum on that last drive.
Yeah.
And what did Eberflus do? He coached scared. He coached conservative.
Scared. I'm not saying it was the right play or the wrong play. I'm not saying it's the right or the wrong.
Also, of course, there's risk. Of course, there's risk of fumbling. There's risk involved in every play. But he goes to the podium and he's pretty much telling all of us that he does not trust his players with the game on the line at the end of the game to get 7 to 8 yards. That's essentially what I'm taking from his comments.
It was a lose-lose. All right, he had a lose-lose shot here. So let's say he where was I going with this? So if he chose to do the extra play, right? If he chose to do the extra play and they fumble, what's the conversation now? Are we going to be saying he was in a spot where he could have kicked the field goal, he could have burnt the clock down like he did?
I get it.
I get
it.
There were 2 options. He chose the lesser.
He chose the safe route. He chose the
safer option. Yeah, he did, and it hasn't paid off. Here's the thing. We're having a different conversation if that kick goes through. And we're having a different conversation if a referee can understand when to call a fucking penalty on a Green Bay special teams.
Jack, and another thing we talked about before we hopped on the air here, and again, this is the Bare Necessities podcast. Make sure you guys go check us out on Apple. Check us out on Spotify, wherever you guys get your podcasts. Also, make sure to follow our YouTube channel, the Bare Necessities Podcast. Like, subscribe, comment. Feed the algorithm. All comments are welcome. I think another thing I'm so frustrated with this morning is just like some of these stats that just absolutely blow my mind. Since 1940, the Bears are now 101-24 when they have 0 turnovers on offense and they create a takeaway on defense. 3 of those 24 losses have come in the last 3 weeks.
It's painful.
No, the Packers do not own the Bears. No, Aaron Rodgers does not own the Bears. George McCaskey does, and that's far, far worse.
That's a naughty stat. That's a naughty line right there. Clip it. Clip that, baby.
I forgot to finish my story last week on last week's show. I was talking about how Ashley and I and her father this last August, we went to Bears training camp at Hallis Hall. We're walking the grounds. We're walking to the practice field. And we walked by George McCaskey. Like, George McCaskey is literally walking by us. And my soon-to-be father-in-law, went up and started having a conversation with George, and they started talking about the stadium and how long he's been a Bears fan, blah, blah, blah. And Ashley, my fiance, is just like, you don't want to go up and just say something to Mr. McCaskey? And I'm like, no, I'm good. What do I have to say to him? And in that moment, I knew in my fucking gut, I knew that what on earth do I need to say to that man? He can be the nicest person in the world, but he's a terrible fucking owner. Like, wake up, dude. Wake up. Are you sick and tired of your franchise losing every goddamn year to your bitter rivals? The history, the rivalry, the historic tradition, blah, 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 blah. We've heard it all. We've heard it all. It's time to write new history, Jack. Like, I'm sick to my stomach this morning in a game that the Bears had. We outplayed them for 4 quarters. And I get it. Green Bay did not play their best game. That was not the best Jordan Love game. That was not the best Matt LaFleur game. But like, I'm not going to apologize for their lack of effort. I just the coaching, the ownership, it's just a mess, man. It is a mess. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Caleb Williams this morning, turns 23, our savior. Happy birthday. So sorry you're stuck with us for the next 5 years.
Yeah, you talk about birthday gifts. Here's the win that you've earned, but the
Jack,
loss that you've got. And same with you and your wedding gift.
Jack,
you get married this Friday, yeah.
I was going to say, Jack, thank you for bringing it up. I get married on Friday. I don't know if a lot of you guys know this. I'm getting married on Friday. I'm very happy. I'm very excited. This is going to be one of the best weeks of my life. And I'm trying so hard to shake this bitter, miserable feeling that I'm just so accustomed to feeling every Monday morning because my favorite football team literally makes me fucking miserable every Sunday. And literally, Jack, I try so hard for it to not to affect me.
Do.
I wish I wish so hard that I didn't care as much as I do. I wish that I can just sweep this under the rug and be like, it's okay. It's whatever. Right. And I can't.
You can't.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Some puppy love right there. Some puppy love.
Yeah. He knows we're stressed. There's excitement. He's like, you okay? No, we're not. We're not okay.
We're not okay.
Chicago Bears fans. And nothing's okay.
We're far from okay.
I think you just said this earlier on in the podcast, and I know we haven't really thought about this too much, but I agree with what you said. Like, should we be putting all the eggs in the basket on Thomas Brown right now? Probably not, but the players bought in, and he had, that was his audition, and he passed with flying colours. We know Matt Eberflus needs to win out to even have a chance of staying on next year. And it's an impossible task. If all our players are buying in on Thomas Brown, give him 1 more week. Let's see how he does with the Vikings. And if Eberflus is out, let's get rid of him now. Do you know what? I'll take a Thomas Brown audition tape for the next, 5 odd weeks.
If we were to have been blown out yesterday, would Eberflus still be around this morning? I mean, if McCaskey ever had a pair of balls, maybe they would have gotten rid of him this morning. But clearly that wasn't the case. Bears outgained Green Bay in total yardage. They had more rushing yards yesterday, more first downs. They won the time of possession. They won the turnover battle, and they still lost. And again, it just goes back to coaching. What drives me up what drives me up a wall. Literally, dude, I'm like all on goops this morning. I'm hitting my mic. Pounding the table over here.
Oh, it's funny.
What drives me up a wall, man, and I keep going back to it. Look at what Jim Harbaugh is doing with a mediocre Chargers team.
Dog shit team. Dog shit.
I don't want to say they're dog shit, but
no, they are.
You know just as much as I know that most NFL fans know, and I know our offensive line is garbage. Our defensive line, I don't know what's going on. Montez Sweat, he's on the bad list this week. Like, our pass rush is non-existent, but whatever. Besides the point. Like, our roster on paper is better than the Chargers. Our roster on paper is better than the Denver Broncos. They're winning with young quarterbacks, but good coaching. It's what drives me up a goddamn
I think
wall.
you're right there. If you
my
look at their
skin crawl.
yeah, if you look at their
Coaching matters.
Their players. Look. What have the Chargers got? They've got Quentin Johnson. Yes, he was a first rounder, but until this year, he hadn't done shit. And that he is being well coached.
J.K. Dobbins might win, NFL Comeback Player of the Year. He's having a really good year. Justin Herbert is a really good young quarterback.
But look at him.
He's got some injury history though.
But look at their receiving core. Their receiving core is not strong. They've got Lad
McConkey, who had a really good game last night.
Yeah, he did. Josh Palmer, who isn't making, who's like Colin Johnson. He's a bench player. You've got Quentin Johnson. Even you look at the Broncos. You've got Marvin Mims. Yes,
Marvin Mims. You got Cortland Sutton. You got Javonte Williams. You got some talent on Denver. But Sean Payton is a proven Super Bowl winning head coach.
Phenomenal coach. And so that comes to us. We have Keenan Allen and we have DJ Moore. We have Rome Odunze, who's phenomenal. Cole Kmet, who is a fan favorite, phenomenal. We have DeAndre Swift and we have Roshan Johnson. If you look at our players, that receiving roster, that rushing roster, we are, I would say, on paper, top 10, top 5. We have phenomenal talent. We have got the people in place, and you're right. It does come down to the coaching. What is going wrong? We had a coach that came in last week against the Packers and has held his own. And to be honest with you, I said it before, that was an audition tape and you passed with flying colours. Let's see what you can do against the Vikings. I am now hopeful, and I know we use that word and we shouldn't use it, but I am hopeful against a Vikings team that is floundering a little bit.
Did Thomas Brown show enough to you yesterday? Did he show enough that he got Caleb Williams back on track? Caleb finished 23 for 31, 231 yards. He also ran the ball for 70 yards. He had a 74% completion percentage, 95 overall QBR rating. 0 turnovers. He took 2 sacks on the final drive of the game, but the guy stepped up in crunch time. And I truly believe that Thomas Brown was able to elevate Caleb's play. He elevated his confidence yesterday. 18 is not the problem. The kid showed so much heart yesterday, and this was the second game, almost game winnable drive until the Bears lost it. I mean, this is the second time, that this has happened, and then the Bears ultimately failed Caleb. Happy birthday, young man! Happy birthday to you this morning. We're so sorry. We're so sorry because he doesn't deserve this shit. Caleb would think about any other franchise right now. Caleb would be killing it, but he's stuck with us. Like that is literally where my mind immediately goes.
I just watched part of my take, listened to it last week, and somebody said this, and I think Big Cat even brought this up. I love Big Cat, love his takes. It is the Chicago Bears, because you look at it's the Patrick Mahomes theory. If Patrick Mahomes came to the Bears, would we have NFL Patrick Mahomes, or would we have Chicago Bears Patrick Mahomes? And we would.
And nobody that's a Bears fan agrees with us. Nobody understands because they don't live the hell that we live through. Like they don't understand it. They see Patrick Mahomes and they'd be convinced that he would be a little bit version of himself with us. No. Like we ruin everybody. This is what we do. This is our DNA. This is why I want to continue to echo what I said on last week's show. I truly in my heart think we need to start a new chapter. We need a new leaf. Like we need to turn over a new leaf. Like we need to get out of Soldier Field. We need to start fresh somewhere else. We need to start a new identity, a new culture. Like it's so painfully obvious that like we are not going to be relevant until we get out of there. Mm-hmm. It's not a Soldier Field problem. I'm just saying, you know what I'm trying to get at? Like we desperately need a new start. And our ownership can't get their head out of their own ass. And I don't know what their hiring cycle is like. How did Shane Waldron, the Bears were and we dropped the podcast last week, not even 24 hours before Shane Waldron officially got let go by the Bears. Hallelujah. Thank God. Right. But he's the scapegoat. and we talked about this off air. We talked about it through text all week last week. Like, Shane Waldron was just the scapegoat. We know what the true problem is. It's Eberflus at top. How the Bears, again, I don't know how many times I gotta fucking say this, how the Bears didn't even call Harbaugh just to pick his mind. The guy is a winner everywhere he goes. It will go down as the biggest fail in Ryan Poles' tenure as general manager. How he didn't even consider him, anybody. The guy's a fucking winner everywhere he goes. It just makes me sick, dude.
You're right.
It makes me
You're 100% right. It comes down to Ryan Poles. It does come down to Ryan Poles. I know you brought Eberflus up, but who kept on Eberflus? That's Ryan Poles. Who helped? Who did the Shane Waldron hire? That is Eberflus and Ryan Poles. Like you said, the vetting process. The vetting process isn't. Ryan Poles has had a lot more hits than misses, so you've got to give him credit. Let Chef Poles cook. That being said.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
No, you're wrong. You're right. But you're right though. It's frustrating. He's cooked, but the misses are heavy staggering enough. They are. Yeah, you're right. It's too heavy to ignore. You could get. It's like a relationship. You do everything right in a relationship. You do one thing wrong. That one thing hovers over all the good stuff you've done. That's the same thing with this. This is the Chicago Bears relationship. Ryan Poles has done all these good stuff, but then the big misses, you lose trust in him. I've lost trust in Ryan Poles. I don't think he can. He can do it. I don't think he can do it.
Do you trust him to hire the next guy? You know, it's this cycle that we continue to do where we can't pair the general manager and the coach up at the same time, and it's with their quarterback. Like, everybody is inheriting something new that they didn't originally sign up for. And I'm not saying that the next coach, won't be able to figure out Caleb. That's not what I'm trying to say. But this next coach, didn't come with polls. Like Poles and Eberflus were supposed to be it together, and it's so obvious that they're not.
Right.
Matt and Ryan are our guys. Right. This is the second regime we've had in a row with a Matt and a Ryan, and just fucking put me out of my misery.
I never thought about that.
Literally. There was some good yesterday. I did want to get to it. Again, I'm with you. Thomas Brown gave the Bears more life yesterday. They ran the ball. That was one of the better rushing games the Bears have had all year. Balance. I think you saw there was more play action, which is what I had been pounding the table for, screaming for. They put 7 guys on the line, and you fake it one way, and then you roll Caleb out another way. It's what he did so well in college, and we need to continue to see more and more of it.
Working his strengths, yeah.
Also, if you look at the passing chart, Caleb was able to distribute the ball to multiple guys. Everybody caught the ball yesterday. Rome, 6 catches, 65 yards. Rome, by the way, came up huge on that last drive with with 2 straight catches. 15 is going to be a player, man. If there's one thing we can be happy about this morning, other than 18's final effort on that last drive, which again showed so much heart and so much grit and determination, we are lucky to have 18. I wouldn't say it's the other way around. 18's not lucky to have us. 18 should be fucking miserable. He's here, but we are truly lucky to have a quarterback like Caleb Williams, who did give us a chance to win the game yesterday. Do you think Justin would have driven down the field yesterday to put us in contention? I truly don't know. Do you think Mitch would have done that? But Rome had 6 catches. DJ had 7 catches yesterday. Cole Kmet, welcome back, young man. Thank God we're getting him more involved. 3 catches, 42 yards. Keenan had 4 catches. Caleb was able to distribute the ball a lot more than he has in these last couple of weeks.
It was great to see.
DeAndre Swift was electric in that 39-yard touchdown run. I still think he's struggling a little bit inside the tackle box, but what I loved that Thomas Brown did was give Roschon Johnson actual carries that were nowhere near the goal line, which Shane Waldron was failing to understand. Swift, Get him out on the perimeter. You get him outside the tackle boxes where he can use his speed as his strength. Roschon Johnson is your north-south power back. He falls forward. When you give him the rock and he finds a hole, he's going to get you 5 yards and he's going to fall forward because that's what 23 does. Like, I truly do believe that Thomas Brown gave the Bears a better chance to win. He was balanced, like you said. It was refreshing to see. With that being said, he has his work cut out for him this upcoming week when Brian Flores and the Vikings come to town. And Brian Flores and that Vikings defense, they're a top 5 unit in the league.
Joke.
Good luck. Good luck. They're going to give Caleb fits. They're going to blitz. They're going to disguise all their coverage, all their coverages. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how Thomas Brown handles this upcoming week.
Yep.
But like literally, we were just talking about it before we came on air. Like, it's just so painfully obvious. Like, why can't we let Eberflus go? Cut our losses.
Right.
Why are we dragging our whole fan base through the mud when we know the inevitable and make Thomas Brown the interim coach? How would that not light a fire under this team to be led by that guy? I mean, like, the passion he showed in the booth yesterday, how he talks, how he commands, the media and their attention. I mean, I'm not trying to get ahead of myself here, but it reminded me of the guy in Pittsburgh. It reminds me of Tomlin. Like, he's got a little bit of that Mike Tomlin in him. I'm tired, man. I'm tired, and we need a motivator of men. We need a leader of men. And
I'm Mr. Nice Guy.
Very, very, very intrigued to see how Thomas Brown continues to call plays and continues to handle this offense and continues to handle Caleb's development, where the Bears might have an interesting situation on their hands of what do they do with Thomas Brown after this season. Because he's a part of Shane Waldron. He's attached to Shane Waldron, who got hired by fucking idiot Eberflus. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
You've said that perfectly, exactly what I was just about to go into. So, let's say Thomas Brown continues from now until the end of the season to showcase what Caleb can do with this offense. Even with this offensive line being as cacked as it is, they still kept in a clean pocket. And that does come down to the offensive coordinator getting everyone on the same page and, like I said, motivating. I get worried. And again, this just sucks being a Bears fan. It really does, because the way I'm looking at this right now is, let's say Thomas Brown just continues having a good season. Are we going to end up having Thomas Brown as our head coach in the 2025-2026?
It just would be very unlike the Bears to make a move like that.
It would be very much like Ryan Pauls to do I'm going to keep on the guy because he's had a good audition tape. If Ben Johnson is available and you pass on a guy that just put up 52 points, yes, it was against the Jags, but he absolutely steamrolled him. 52 points, I believe it was, against the Jags this week, and you'd pass on him because you had an offensive coordinator that had a good season on a lost season. I would be... I don't know what I'd do. I think I'd be picketing in front of Hallis Hall. I couldn't do it. Let Thomas Brown have his audition for his next team.
Right.
That's how I would look at this, and you put all the eggs in the Ben Johnson basket.
Per True Media Sports, Bears quarterback Caleb Williams had an average time to throw yesterday of 2.6 seconds, a season low. His EPA versus the blitz was his second best of the season, 0.86, and his 101 passer rating on third down was a season high. So with Thomas Brown coming in, Caleb got the ball out much faster. Mm-hmm. And you heard Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt talk about it on the broadcast, which, by the way, I was not looking forward to hearing Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady on the call yesterday. I thought both of them were very fair. I really did. I mean, Kevin Burkhardt is annoying a little bit, just showing his enthusiasm and optimism for Green Bay and, clearly piling it on. And having the Bears fan base have to hear about it. But I thought Tom Brady was extremely fair. Mm-hmm. I thought it was one of the better games I've heard him call all year that I was actually paying attention to. It did not bother me. But again, kudos to Thomas Brown. I think he was one of the few bright spots of yesterday, and it felt good. And because of him and because of his game plan and his efforts, we were able to come away with some good from yesterday. And the Bears really haven't had much good in the last couple of weeks, but there was good on tape. I saw good flashes on tape from multiple guys. And that's exciting to see. Can we talk about Montez Sweat just like disappearing for a second?
Where is he?
Yeah, our pass rush is non-existent. And again, you want to go back to a lack of moves by Ryan Poles, how we didn't address the other defensive end position opposite of Sweat, knowing full well that was going to be a weakness heading into the season. And Poles is like, yeah, I'm good. Like we got DeMarcus Walker and we got some other rotational pieces, and we'll address it when we need to. Like Montez Sweat's missing, man. He's not even a factor this year, and I know he's battling some type of a lower extremity issue right now. I don't think he's 100%, but like we make the move to go get him last year. He was such a force to be reckoned with last year, and our defense really rallied around that. I don't even think 98 is a force to be reckoned with at all this year. Really, he looks slow. He looks slow out there.
His motivation more than likely is gone. I don't think he is bought into Eberflus this year. I think Eberflus, when we talk about losing players, I think he is. I think that when you're looking at a season and you know the season's done, how motivated are you to put 100% in? Realistically, like if you said to me, yeah, we're probably not making the playoffs this year. You have to bend over backwards. Your percentage is probably less than 10% that you're going to make the playoffs. My effort's going because I'm looking at next year. I've lost my motivation. My week-to-week motivation is gone. That being said, it echoes Khalil Mack in his last year with us. Khalil, 52, my boy. He disappeared. He had a bad last year with the Chicago Bears, and it was because he didn't have somebody on the opposite side, and so teams were very easy. It was an easy double team. They blocked him out of the game because they could have double coverage of him every single time, and they didn't have to worry about the opposite side because the opposite side was shit. And that's the exact same situation here. You've got Montez Sweat is getting probably getting double teamed. I don't even know, but the point is they're putting whatever they need to do on Montez Sweat and not having to worry about Austin Booker being a rookie or who was the other, DeMarcus Walker.
Marcus Walker, yeah.
Not a factor. Not a factor at all, and it echoes it. Get another defensive end. Use your second-round pick on him for all I care. I don't care. Just get someone that's going to be an absolute stud on that opposite side, and so they're having to worry about both sides. You look at every single defense, they've always got two defensive ends that are going to disrupt that pocket. If you only have one, it's an ineffective pass rush. It doesn't matter if you are the best pass rusher in the game. You're not effective.
Bears play the Vikings this upcoming Sunday. This is the second division opponent in a row, and then the Bears go on the road to face the Lions on Thanksgiving next week, followed by on the road against the 49ers. So it does not get easier for our Bears. Do they have any chance against Minnesota? I think all the heart and the determination that they showed yesterday. Are we going to get that effort? Are we going to get their best effort again this upcoming week? I think they just the tumultuous week that was Hallis Hall, letting Shane Waldron go, and we didn't even get to this, like how Poles cut ties with Nate Davis. The Nate Davis experience is officially over. Cutting a $30 million free agent and just having to eat all that money is essentially what Ryan Poles did. It just was an absolute clown show, disaster, mess of a week last week. Like national media, like laughing in our face all over ESPN all week about how much of a joke our organization was. And we keep talking about it. I thought these days were over, and somehow we're still here again. And we have such a good fan base. I'm not just saying this to be biased. I truly believe we're one of the top 10, top 5 fan bases in the NFL. We do not deserve this. I do not know why our loyalty has been tested as much as it has, especially this last decade has just been fucking brutal. Absolutely brutal. And we get these small flashes, these small glimmers of hope that are we going to finally break through? And then we just get kicked in the balls over and over and over again. It is torture. It is agony. Rooting for sports, being a sports fan should be fun. It should be fun. Like being a sports fan is recreational. It should be an enjoyable experience. Rooting for this team, rooting for this franchise literally is a burden in my life. It's a chore. That's what it feels like. I know I have a choice in that matter. And I said it earlier in the show, I wish I did not care as much as I truly do. I wish that games like yesterday didn't affect me as much as they do. I wish it didn't affect my mood, my self-esteem, my anxiety. I truly wish it did not matter as much as it does. But unfortunately, they're my favorite team in the whole world, and I'm going to stick with them reluctantly. And as much as I fucking hate myself for doing it, like Michael Crabtree, good friend of the show, big Green Bay fan, literally texted me this morning saying, I feel for you guys. I don't think anybody that isn't a Bears fan has any true idea what it's like rooting for this franchise that consistently, time in and time again, lets us down. It's maddening. It is maddening. It's so frustrating, and it's just heart-wrenching. We have to keep going through this. And I want to say the last drive of the game yesterday, what we saw from 18, I want to say that that's and 15. I want to say that's our light. That's the light at the end of the tunnel. We do have something to look forward to.
2025's our year, baby.
2025,
1985, 2005, 2025. Brandon Schroth, thank you.
We're doing, thanks, Brandon. We're doing the Cubs. There's always next year, did the Billy Goat curse just secretly get transferred over to the Bears?
They did. Excuse me. Yeah, here's the other thing. I think we've got a chance against the Vikings. You know me, glass half full. I've always been optimistic. This week I wasn't. I think we talked about this about the expectations going into this Packers game, and we've been pleasantly surprised. The Bears covered if we were looking at against the spread, but
they did.
And I did not think I've taken the Bears every week, and that was the first time.
Bet on that game yesterday.
I did not bet on that game, but here's the thing: look how much wind it took out of our sails when we lost on a Hail Mary. I do think we have a chance against the Vikings just because the Vikings are floundering right now. They are struggling against bad teams, and they are mightily struggling against good teams. We are not a great team right now, but we showed a glimmer, and I think we can build on that. I don't think the Vikings have enough tape to really have an effect on us. I think it will be close. Defense win ball games. Still no Briscoe. Briscoe's an IR, but
that's another thing we didn't get to.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, how much does losing on a kick like that take out of your sails? We saw it with the Hail Mary. Do we get that again against the Vikings?
Great point, Jack. And way to bring that up. Talking about letting a last second another loss affect this team moving forward. And if the Bears had a real head coach, a real motivator, leader of men that could really rally his guys and not just give us that bullshit coach speech. We got to pull together and look inside. And the guy is just...
Look at the man next to you.
Yeah, the guy's just a mumbling fool. I don't foresee a win next week. I don't. And you just hit the nail on the head. How much this really probably hurt and affected this locker room, just knowing this is the fourth loss in a row and the way that they lost, knowing that they should have won and they did what they could to put themselves in a position to win the game and still lost. I don't know how that's not going to carry and transfer over to the next week, even with a Vikings team that's kind of floundering, like you said, and they just kind of got by a really bad Tennessee team, 23-13 yesterday. So we'll see. We will see, but we're feeling it with you guys right now. It is not easy being a fan of this team by any means, and I just want to let you guys know before we sign off that the Bears are 5-17 in one-score games since Matt Eberflus took over in 2022. It is the worst record of any NFL head coach in the league.
Why are you leaving me like that? Why are you leaving me with that stat?
Just want to sign off on that note, just to remind you guys what a fucking buffoon we have at the top. So. He's Jack Lomax. I'm John Presnowski. This has been the Bare Necessities Podcast. Another loss to the Packers, another brutal loss to the Packers. It's been 64 days since we last beat Green Bay. Caleb Williams was a sophomore in high school. Mitchell Trubisky was our quarterback. And we're going to have to wait until the last week of the season this year to go to Lambeau to try and get redemption, but good luck.
11-1.
Yeah. Good luck with that. So, again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys go check us out on Spotify, on Apple, wherever you guys get your podcasts. Also, check out the YouTube channel. For Jack Lomax, I'm John Presnowski signing off. Be good, be well, and don't forget to bear down.